welcome, my dear friends. Thank you so much for sharing some of your time with me today, where I get to prove to you that market is not chaos. So super excited to see all of you on this channel, where I will be proving to you that market is not chaos. Yesterday's yesterday's stream was one of the places where I did mention that today, in approximately, let's see, what do we got here? In roughly 12 minutes, I'm going to show it to you on the monitor. There's going to be an impulse from Canadian currency, right? So CAD, Canadian dollar, is going to create a gray, a much, kind of like say, much bigger candle, a much more noticeable impulse. We don't know whether it's going to go up or down yet, but there are some things that we can take advantage of nevertheless. All right, so today we're going to keep it kind of basic because tomorrow we have the British CPI. So actually, let's kind of, hop over and let's take a look. All right, so today, look at this. We got today today's Tuesday, May 20th at 3:30. I am in Cyprus right now, but at 3:30 we have, this is GMT plus 3 time. This is where you can correct the time for you, but we're looking at forexfactory.com. It's a Forex calendar. Actually, if you type in Forex calendar into Google search engine or any kind of browser, you'll see a list of actual potential, sites like, I don't know, what was it, wallstreetjournal.com, investing.com. We got forexfactory.com, the one we use. I think it's kind of user-friendly. It's very down to the point, but we have CPI. CPI is going to be happening today at 3:30. And right now it is 3:19. So in about 10 minutes, you and I are going to see a reaction from Canada, Canadian dollar. That's why I got a whole bunch of Canadian currencies here, currency pairs, right? AUD CAD, CAD CHF, Euro CAD. Seems like Euro CAD is the, oh, well, there we go. AUD CAD and Euro CAD are the most. Oh, this is OTC. That doesn't matter. Let's see, get rid of that. There we go. So these are the ones that are, most profitable. And across all of them, if it's good news for the Canadian dollar here, the AUD is going to take a dive, right? So it's actually going to go downwards. If it's great, if it's great news here, you're actually going to see a, green spike. So, just remember that CAD has to be the one to be considered, whether it's a primary currency or secondary. All right, so let's hop to this. All right, so today we're going to do a little kind of brief understanding on the pullback. There is usually a pullback, and historically, statistically, and logically speaking, there's a reason for that, right? The reason is that, once again, I kind of mentioned that there is a supply and demand principles that determine the value of everything in this world. Anything you can set your eyes on has a value derived from the support and supply and demand principles, right? And oh, we got Donald, our dear man. Donald, I'm so happy that you're actually with us again. And Evgeny, hey, my man, you guys are like my regulars here. I appreciate it. Thank you for spending a bit of time with me. Just to mention, chats are open to everybody that might come across this stream. I am very eager to answer any questions about this topic at hand, or essentially about trading in general. Keep in mind, my friends, that I am available to talk to you one-on-one. Through our Telegram channel. Our team is presenting you with an opportunity to, have this one-on-one time, where I can clarify essentially anything that might be on your mind, trading related. I'm not asking you to trust me and my team. We will prove to you, actually, that you are able to make money, no matter what your goals are, no matter what kind of budget you have. If you want to, you can make money. We just need to kind of discuss the ins and outs of this, of trading by the book. All right, so coming back to the Canadian dollar. All right, so the supply and demand principles. Now, once again, understand, traders, when they buy at a particular point, when they open the position for a, for a buy, right, for a call or going long, as they say also in Forex, they're hoping that the value is going to go up. But at a certain point, they're going to say, hey, this is great. I've made money and I'm going to close that position. So do understand that when you open the position, you're actually buying and you're affecting the supply and demand principles in the real market, and the asset goes up when you buy because you're showing increase in demand by buying, and the supply of that I don't know, the asset becomes less, or service in this case, could be applicable as well, becomes less, and the value of that goes up. But as soon as you say, hey, I've had enough of profit, I'm going to close this position, by doing that, you're actually selling. So again, you're affecting the supply and demand principles, and if you're selling, the demand essentially goes down, the supply increases in the amount, and essentially that's what brings the value down. So if you open in Forex a position at a particular level and it's leveraged position, which means you're going to make lots of money. If you were like 100 pips in euro dollar usually equals around 100, or I'm sorry, yeah, about 100%. No, not more, more than that. Actually, we'll go into calculations later. But yeah, 100 pips, let's say 100%, you say, hey, you know what, that's fine. I'm done. I'm going to take my money out. And actually, no, 1000% with 100 pips. 500 leverage, yeah, it's about 1000%, believe it or not, right? So about 30, 40, 50 pips is like, 500% right there with 50 pips. So when you buy at that point, it goes whoosh, it goes up. You say, hey, that's good enough. I'm going to sell it. When you sell it, there is that, again, affecting supply and demand principle. So the asset usually goes into a different direction. It retraces. All right. And as you can see, we got the timer here. We got the timer. And we got about 5 minutes. So, right, less than 6 minutes. So about 5 minutes from now, we are going to see a release. Now, when we look at a calendar, any calendar that you take, should have a little bit of uh, additional detail. Here on this calendar, it's in this manila folder. So you can see the history of it, right? When they do, how often it's released. CPI is released monthly, right? So there's December, January, February, March, April. Now we're looking at the May one. Now you can see that the previous one was 1.1%, forecast was 0.7, came out much lower, 0.3. So right now it's 0.3%. It was forecasted to be negative 0.1% CPI. So what does CPI measures? It measures inflation. It's an inflation related statistic. Consumer price index. How we as consumers are affecting the price of goods and services by us spending money or saving money, right? And in Canada, it does seem like there is, in March, there was a bit of a growth, right? But then there was a sharp decline, right? And, it varies, I guess. Actually, it varies a little bit with Donald Trump at the wheel in America because 70% of Canadian goods are exported to United States. So Donald, I don't know if you guys followed the news. He's kind of doing this tariff wars with different countries where he thinks that, maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. That's not my area of expertise, but he is affecting other economies by how much money he puts on the tariffs on the goods that are coming in. So Canadians doesn't look like they're spending a lot of money, and that's why, we see that in statistically speaking. So anyways, there we go, 3 minutes. So what are we going to expect? We're going to expect a bigger candle, right? We're not going to use any indicators because this is not something that's necessary, right? This is pure fundamentals, right? So fundamental analysis and what I've just told you, right? Let's actually see if we can, put something interesting on the retracement. I'm not a big fan of taking risks, but let's start with like $25. The retracement, the other thing that statistically, historically speaking, you might notice that that there is well, after a spike, whether it's up or down, it should be bigger than the previous candles because, as I mentioned, it should be including, well, including different kind of data. Um, if the statistic here is going to be marginally good, right? So if it comes out at 0.2%, there could be a spike and a retracement in the same minute. If the statistic is somehow staggering, right? If it was like really, really impressive, if the spike rate was like zero point 0.3 last month, negative zero point 0.1, it comes out at 5%. It's not going to come out at 5%. I'm just using that as an exaggeration. But if it does, it's going to be a massive surprise. And the spike is going to be, for Canada, is going to be so good, it's going to be so big that it could actually go for a retracement on the second or the third minute. That's why we're going to have several steps of martingale here just in case. All right, so yesterday's stream, well, I predicted, I said that there's going to be a spike followed by a retracement. We're going to do a countdown, and right down at the second of it, there should be a much noticeable spike. Canada is not the smallest economy in the world. They're partners with the biggest economy in the world. That's what makes them, it's a little bit more noticeable. All right, so there we go. Less than a minute. So if we now switch over to, we see 56, 50 plus seconds. We see there it is, 50 plus seconds. So we're attuned. We're attuned to this particular event. So I'm going to buy or sell. All right, I'm going to buy if there's a negative spike. Right, if it's going to go whoosh down, I'm going to open a buy position, and by the end of the minute, actually I would say in 60 seconds, let's actually take it to 60 seconds, it should retrace and close a little bit lower. If it jumps up, if there's going to be an impulse upwards, at some point I'm going to open a retracement in the same minute, and there should be, a pullback. All right, so Donald, you definitely are my man, brother. I appreciate you showing your patronage here, buddy. All right, we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And what do we see? Whoosh. There it is. There's a big spike. Whoa. Actually, a much bigger spike. Let's actually, there we go. $50. And I think that I'm going to wait now. I think, I would have wanted to open a little bit higher, but you can't really know exactly the point of entry. But right now we have $75, so I'm probably going to load up another 150, and then I'm gonna wait a little bit. All right, so right now, oh no, I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna open it here. All right, so now my balance allows for something like this. I definitely wouldn't advise anybody with like $100 or like $200 to do something like this. There should be proper money management, right? But right now we also have 225 together, which means that next one looks like 225 and 225 is 450, but let's make it even 500 just in case. But there we go. We opened 60 seconds later. There will be, so we got a little bit of time. There we go. So it closed the first in the losing. But there's the retracement. See, so it did go here and it closed lower by about 20%. And let's actually take a look at what we're looking at here. It's pending. There it is. All right, so it's exactly for the CPI monthly statistic as predicted. It was lower. That's not really a good news for Canada, but for some reason it did react like it was good news. All right, so yeah, that is actually unusual. Let's see what we got. Canada, right? Canadian. So it was a negative statistic for. I'm kind of curious as to why. Wait a second. All right, so it was exactly as, for the monthly statistic, was exactly as forecasted. So it's not really good or bad news. It's exactly what people were expecting. But there was a positive surprise with the median CPI, 2.9 for 2.9. It came out at 3.2. Good statistic. Same thing here, 2.8, 2.8 came out a little bit higher. Trimmed CPI, median CPI, and CPI monthly, it stayed the same. That's why it is a good news for Canadian dollar. That's why we see a spike. We see a retracement. And yes, there should be a continuation. Exactly what we're seeing here. So a spike. You see here it was actually opened even with a little bit of a gap. It closed this candle here, but it opened with a bit of a gap, spiked down, and in the same minute, it retraced. There it is. It closed higher. So if you opened anywhere here for a retracement, you would have made money. All right, so euro, no, that's euro dollar. All right, CAD, there it is. All right, so here, I think this is where we spent it, right? CAD CHF. Yeah, all right, so there we go. So I lost 25, then for 50, but on 150 it closed exactly as I was expecting, a little bit lower in the same minute. And what happened was that we got $126. Well, we lost 75, we won 126, which minus 75, it's like 56 bucks in profit. All right, so there it is. This is not something that's a surprise. I love this. NFP, CPI, PMIs, even some of the PPIs, or these acronyms that are in any Forex calendar, you know, my dear friends, exactly right down to the second when they're going to create an impulse. Tomorrow, we're going to do the stream much earlier for our English-speaking audience, probably on the East Coast and Europe, or in Central Asia, but at 9 a.m., right? So essentially, this is going to be like 6 hours back from 6.5 hours back from now. GBP is going to give us the same kind of possibility to take advantage of. So now here on this particular one, I'm actually going to show you something about pending trades. It's really cool, actually, way to open the position and not only make money during the retracement. That's a cool thing. There's actually multiple ways to make money, to capitalize on an event that you know exactly where it's going to happen. We're going to open a pending trade based on the asset price. So right here, we're going to subtract about 3 pips. We're going to open a position for a buy. We're going to subtract 3 pips from this, and we're going to open a position for sell. And as soon as the impulse happens, it's going to activate one of these pending trades. It's going to shoot up. And if it closes above a particular point, 3 or 4 pips, we're going to see a profitability. Also, we're going to open again a retracement position. Super easy, something that you can repeat on your own by looking at any Forex calendar. You can actually just go like, hey, let me see this, statistics for the entire month. You'll be able to see, you can filter out, not really high impact events. And there it is. There's a schedule for this entire month, right? This week, right there, we took advantage of, right now, Canadian CPI. We're going to take advantage of GBP CPI. And on Thursday, my dear friends, we're going to again see impulses from French, manufacturing and services PMIs, and German. And you'll be able to take advantage of it after the stream from for the GBP, from the British site and the Americans. This like Thursday's packed full of events. So these are not 100% guarantees, but man, they're very, very close. Historically, statistically speaking, there will be an impulse, and I've explained to you, my dear friends, why there will be a pullback. All right, so to summarize today's event, impulse happens when lots of people buy. And this is not a surprise. I've shown you that where to look this, where to see this information. Right now, let's say in China or maybe Japan, people are already sleeping, but they can put a I don't know, alarm clock. They can wake their butts up. Open. They see the impulse. They open for a retracement. Boom. They make money. They go back to sleep, feeling good about themselves. This is not a surprise. This is fundamental. That's the schedule that's released every week, every month, every quarter, and this is something that we have in form of Forex calendar. Now, of course, we need to maybe talk at some point later about unexpected things, right? If meteor hits, I don't know, or Yellowstone volcano erupts, we understand that this is going to impact the American economy. So we're going to go to the dollar and we're going to see a decline. Maybe we take advantage of that as well to make money. So it actually doesn't matter if something grows or falls. We can make money on it. We can capitalize on any of these events. So, for now, let's kind of switch over to the big screen. For now, my dear friends, I'm going to bid you adieu till tomorrow at 9 a.m. GMT plus 3 time. It would mean the world to me if somebody leaves comments, right? Donald, thank you, my dear man, for being with us. Evgeny, you are the man. Everybody that joins, I mean, you guys are, kind of part of the family already, part of this community. I want to know what interests you. I'm super excited to talk about people that wish for money to work for them instead of them for the money. You guys are my kind of people. Reach out one-on-one in Telegram channel, subscribe to, to YouTube channel and Twitch. My dear friends, bidding you adieu until tomorrow. So, we'll see you then. Now let's make some money together.